With the recent trend of resurrecting old shows that seemingly had absolutely no chance of seeing the light of Season 2 again, I thought it was about time that I took my own shot at speaking one of my old faves into existence. Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash was a show produced by A1 Pictures in 2016. It came out in those mid-2010 years, where Sword Art Online had already rushed onto the scene, and because of how insanely popular it became, led to the creation of so many isekai that we are now beginning to run out of titles for them. Either you were McLovin, this golden age of trash, or you were Mick, please don't make me watch another isekai, I want to gouge my eyes out. One thing that everybody could agree on, however, is that the genre could probably use a shakeup of some kind. Something that could not only reignite existing fans' love of isekai, but also lure in those who were especially apprehensive to anything that looks, smells, or tastes like one. Enter Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash, or GOFAA for short. We start out with our main character Haruhiro, a random guy who suddenly wakes up in a finger painting surrounded by a bunch of people who find themselves in the same predicament. None of them have any memory of their lives before coming here, but they're all surprisingly indifferent to this fact, since it's not like they can remember the friends and family they left behind in their wake. So it's whatever. They make their way into town, get told by this guy that they have no choice but to kill monsters in order to earn money and not die out on the streets. Why do they have to risk their lives fighting rabid monsters instead of picking up one of the many different trades within the city? Like cooking or making pointy things. Don't question it, it's whatever. It was around this point that I began to realize this entire scenario is just a lazy cover-up for the show's true nature. A mobile gacha game. Characters get spawned in and thrown into a battle against their will. You have either S-tier freaks of nature, chads amongst chads that were seemingly born for this one purpose, or you have the D-tiers who look like they just got out of diaper training. The cool kids all team up to become the best adventurers ever, say later nerds to our island of misfit toys, and walk off towards their grand destiny. And then the leftovers form their own team. Each member takes the Rosetta Stone 7-day course of how not to trip over your own feet and die, and boom, the gang is ready to rumble. From a distance, the show really doesn't feel all that different from other shows when we look at it from a narrative perspective. Everybody always freaks out about how visceral and realistic the party's first kill is, yet I find that most shows' main characters have that, holy shit, I just killed a living, breathing thing that may have had a family and kids and a 401k. God, I'm a piece of trash moment, followed by a bit of introspection, a little depression, and then never addressing the issue again. What stood out like a sore thumb to me, something that differentiates this show from most titles even to this day, is the mood and the pacing. This show really takes its time with things, for better or worse, and focuses on the minute details of our characters' everyday lives, opposed to rushing to the major story beats. Like, we just watched the crew try and kill goblins, which are the weakest enemy in the world, for roughly 4 episodes straight. In other shows, this entire section would normally just be condensed into a nice little montage or PowerPoint presentation to get us to the boss monster quicker. But not here. Most of us are used to some big shit always happening in our shows, because our ADHD brains are wired for that immediate entertainment, that instant dopamine kick, which results in most shows electing to cut out the shit that they deem boring. In Grimgar, you've got Chad reminding us that this is a battle to the death, while Latex Bodysuit is over here crying because she messed up a spell. Red Robin almost gets the MC killed by a stray arrow, and our tank gets his sword stuck in a tree, all in order to kill one green boy. In a battle of life and death, our party frankly sucks toes. Now, this shit show in and of itself is pretty entertaining, but it's only a small reason for why this show's vibe works. It lulls the viewer into a false sense of security with scenes like this clumsy fight, or the gorgeous watercolor backgrounds, which look amazing by the way, and not at all like finger painting. Everything is slow and steady, laid back, and almost like a slice of life, all up until it just isn't anymore. You can go an entire episode with the gang just moseying around, hardly accomplishing anything at all, just chilling. 2 minutes later, our characters are outside collapsed in the rain, pouring their hearts out while contemplating the death of their short-lived friend. Wow. The show knows when to turn on that emotional switch, for a lack of better words, and this proves to be super valuable. It's able to walk along the knife's edge between being too boring with no emotional payoff and being too busy and over the top like many other shows. The soundtrack helps to do just this. On one hand, you have montages just like this one that play throughout the show. No sound other than the background music, which lets both the show and the viewer breathe to decompress after whatever traumatic experiences the crew may have gone through. On the other, imagine a situation where you are 1v1ing a giant monster who killed your friends, burned your crops, slapped your mom, and kicked your cute Pomeranian named Snoo Snoo. It's time to throw down. And what better music to bang out to than indie rock? All of this is made possible by a band named No Name, which is kind of funny since their name is No Name, but they have a name named No Name. It's whatever. They've made soundtracks for Dorohedoro, Moi, and the upcoming Spy Family anime adaptation, which I am eagerly awaiting. But most importantly with Grimgar's soundtrack, and this is pretty ironic, is that it knows when to just let a scene play out. No music whatsoever, a lack of a soundtrack, just our clumsy characters thrust into an unknown world that they're slowly coming to understand, letting them carry the show. What makes Grimgar so great is that it is careful, almost meticulous with the way that it plays its cards. There aren't a ton of earth-shattering revelations or plot points present here, but through the combination of the show's choices in music and pacing, when those big moments do come in, they are oh so effective. I like to think that they went for quality over quantity when it comes to these standout scenes, and I think they did a pretty great job at it. The team succeeds in setting an extremely unique tone for a type of show that we have seen a cajillion times, and at the end of the day is what distinguishes and sets it apart from the rest of the pack. So, Season 2, please?